So, what do you think is the single biggest expense in your business? Seriously, take a guess. Is it your rent, payroll, maybe marketing? Well, what if I told you it's none of those things? It's something you can't even find on a balance sheet, but it quietly affects every single thing you do. We're talking about trust, and it's not some soft, fluffy skill, it's a cold, hard economic driver. And that right there, that's the heart of it. A lack of trust is the biggest, most invisible expense you have. Every single day, companies pour time and money into dealing with distrust, and the costs, they are staggering. This isn't just a nice-to-have idea, it's a financial reality that can either put your business on the fast track or grind it to a complete halt. Okay, so if this expense is so invisible, how do we actually spot it? Well, it turns out it shows up in some pretty obvious ways. You just have to know what to look for. When trust is low, it's like a tax gets slapped onto everything. We tend to think of these things as just the cost of doing business, right? But they're not really investments. They are a trust tax. Just think about it for a second. Endless approval chains, managers breathing down your neck, security cameras everywhere. All of these systems are built on one single assumption, that people can't be trusted. Every single one is a tax we pay for not trusting each other. And this isn't just some small niche problem. Oh no, the data is pretty eye-opening. A whopping 45% of people said they could only fully trust their employer for a little of their career. Now add the 10% who said never, and you've got over half the workforce just operating in these low-trust environments. For a lot of people, this is just what work feels like. So we've got a clear problem on our hands. But what's the actual bottom line cost? Well, it all boils down to a really simple but incredibly powerful relationship between three things: trust, speed, and cost. This chart here shows you everything you need to know. It's a simple formula. When trust is low, speed plummets, and, you guessed it, costs go up. Every decision gets second-guessed, everything needs to be verified, and collaboration just crawls. But when trust is high, the exact opposite happens. Speed goes way, way up and costs drop. You can move faster, you can innovate, and you can get things done with so much less friction. And this isn't just some theory. There's real data to back this up. Research found that high-trust companies actually outperform low-trust companies by 186%. Let that sink in. That is not a small margin. That is a massive competitive advantage. It proves that trust isn't just the currency of relationships, it's the currency of business, period. All right, so if low trust is so expensive, how do we start building it? You can't just demand trust, right? You have to earn it. And the foundation of all trust is credibility. Turns out that credibility is built on four key pillars. Pillar number one is clarity. It's simple, really. People trust what's clear, and they distrust what's ambiguous. When things are confusing or vague, our brains start trying to fill in the blanks, and usually they fill them with suspicion. So being open, being transparent, and just communicating clearly, that removes all the guesswork and builds a real sense of safety. Next up, we've got character. You can think of this as the moral backbone of trust. It's all about doing what's right, not just what's easy. And trust me, people notice. They're always watching to see if your actions line up with your words, especially when the pressure is on. But, having good character isn't quite enough. People also need to believe you're actually good at what you do. That's competency. Do you have the skills for the job? Are you keeping up with a changing world? Trust needs a track record. You have to show people you can deliver. Consistently. And that brings us to our final pillar, consistency. Look, trust is almost never built in one big, heroic moment. It's forged over time through all the little, predictable things you do day in and day out. When people know they can count on you, that your behavior is steady, that predictability builds an incredibly strong foundation of trust. So when you put all of that together, it becomes crystal clear. Being able to build and hold on to trust isn't just some other leadership skill. In the world we live in today, it is the ultimate competitive advantage. And this is a really important idea to grasp. We talk all the time about high-trust companies or trusted brands, but those things don't just magically appear. They're the result of individuals, people like you, people like me, making a choice every single day to be credible and to be trustworthy. It really does start with us. And here's the ultimate payoff. The number one reason people want to work for a company, it's not a bigger paycheck, it's not better benefits, it's trusted leadership. What that means is leaders who get this, who master the economics of trust, they don't just drive better results, they attract and keep the absolute best people. So I'm going to leave you with this question. as you head into your week, don't just think about what you need to get done. Think about how you're going to do it. Where can you be a little more clear? How can you show your character? What can you do to level up your competency? And how can you show up consistently for your team? Because your answers to those questions, well, they'll determine whether trust is your biggest expense or your greatest asset.